Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Got a big show lined up for you. Let's get right on into it. All right, I'm going to pull up this screen. You're not going to like it. Yep, we've got a national media guy. He's out there trying to clown on Nico a little bit, and we're going to discuss that. He's got a little whisper campaign going on, I think. And I'm shocked. I can't believe somebody in the national media would take a cheap shot at the Vols or one of their players. That never happens. Actually, it happens all the time. But anyway, these things do happen, and we're going to get into this. This is Dennis Dodd. He's got some issues with Nico's amount that he's getting paid through the NIL, and I don't think he likes NIL for kids out of high school is the big issue. I think he just doesn't like it, period. But you know what? If he wants to go after one of our players.
I'm your huckleberry.
That's right, I'm your huckleberry. All right, let's get into what Mr. Dennis Dodd had to say. And this is a story on A to Z Sports. It says a national college football reporter is trying to create a false narrative about the Vols QB, Nico. And I always struggle with this. I always struggle with that name. Anyway, CBS Sports College reporter Dennis Dodd has never been shy about throwing shade at the Tennessee Vols. So it shouldn't come as a surprise as he's already trying to create a false narrative about UT quarterback Nico. He's believed to be the quarterback that I think we've all determined he got the $8 million NIL deal. I'm not sure how many years that's over. It's not a one-year deal, obviously. It's a multi-year deal. And while the Athletic never named the quarterback, everybody pretty much knows it's Nico. He was the number one player in the country. When the details of the $8 million first emerged, it was a bit surprising in a sport that worked extremely hard for years to keep its dirty secrets a secret. It was shocking to see the details of a contract for a recruit go public. In the year since the deal was reported on, NIL agreements have become as common as a recruit tweeting his offers. By the way, $8 million in retrospect looks like a bargain considering Florida's collective was going to pay four-star quarterback Jaden Rashada a little over $13 million. Now, as you remember, Florida never came up with that money, or their collective never did. And many of you know I went behind the scenes and actually got the contract that their collective had made with Rashada, and I showed it to you, and I've still got it. It's right here. And they clearly owe him $13 million. And it even had the Florida logo on it, so that's how I know it's official. So anyway, the story goes on. It says, despite the Rashada deal and the growing number of rich NIL deals across the sport, Dodd still felt like it was necessary to take a shot at Tennessee and Nico this week. Said in Dodd's 23 Things for Spring column that he wrote, he mentions that Nico's supposed NIL deal suggests that some folks are already saying he's being overpaid. He said Nico was the early NIL poster boy, reportedly signing a 3-year bonus-laden $8 million NIL deal. One small detail, Nico, a 5-star prospect from California, must beat out veteran Joe Milton, who can throw it from here to next Thursday and is familiar with Josh Heupel's explosive offense. The quarterback battle winner must somehow resemble Hendon Hooker. For Nico to live up to his contract will be mixed with new offensive coordinator Joey Halzle. You won't believe this, actually you will, but there are already whispers that Nico isn't worth the $8 million. Tennessee is covered as closely as the White House. It says there are already whispers that Nico isn't worth the $8 million. Is a sentence that I didn't expect to see written this spring, and I can agree with the writer on that. It says Nico hasn't played a down of football at Tennessee. He hasn't even gone through a spring practice yet, and somehow guys like Dodd are already questioning if Nico is worth the big NIL deal. And let's just understand what it boils down to. He's not happy that a high school guy got a really nice contract. He was the number one player in the country, okay? Number one quarterback, number one player. And he signed, what, a 3-year deal? Look, that's going to become very common, and I'm not shocked by it at all. And I think what it is, Dodd's one of these type guys.
I'm a grumpy old man. I don't like everything the way it is now compared to the way it used to be.
Yeah, he doesn't like anything the way it is now compared to the way it used to be. It says, the writer says, for what it's worth, I haven't heard these whispers. I haven't heard a thing like that. And I cover the Vols all the time. I watch about everything there is on YouTube. I read the articles. I've not heard one thing other than Nico. The ball flies out of his hand. He's accurate. He moves great. We saw him in the Polynesian Bowl in about a 30-mile-an-hour wind throwing darts. So it's just ridiculous. And he said, everything that's coming out of Tennessee in regards to Nico has been extremely positive. Everyone associated with the program has raved about his maturity, willingness to learn, his attitude as a teammate. And he says, Dodd suggesting that folks are saying Nico isn't worth the money is just him taking a shot at Tennessee because that's what he loves to do. Says, remember, this is the guy who said 2 years ago that Tennessee wouldn't be relevant in the SEC anytime soon. Dodd, quote, said, it's a program that thinks of itself better than it is. It doesn't compete for championships. It last won one in 98. They won the first BCS title. They're not in an orbit with Georgia, Florida, or certainly not Alabama. And I would say Texas A&M, LSU from the other side. So it has a great history, but it doesn't have a great program right now. It's not to say they can't get it back, but now you're looking at spending money to hire a new coach, new staff, trying to compete, paying all that money and trying to get relevant. That's just not going to happen anytime soon. And here was where he was running his jaw, saying Tennessee's a program, thinks of itself better than it is, etc. So, yeah, I don't think the Vols will be relevant anytime soon. I don't see them being able to play with certainly not Florida and LSU or Alabama. I can't even imagine them being able to field a team that could even be competitive against those three teams. How'd we do against them anyway within 24 months of him saying that? I'm trying to remember. How'd we do against Florida, LSU? Who else did he mention? We did lose to Georgia, that's true. We played somebody at Alabama.
Oh, Alabama!
Yeah, Alabama. I think we did okay against them too. So we won 3 out of 4 that we weren't even in the same orbit as them. Okay? We aren't even in the same league with them. That's how bad we are, according to Dennis Dodd.
Shut up!
Yep, exactly. Shut up. Well, we definitely shut him up, that's for sure. But I can't believe he's out here talking smack about Nico. He doesn't even know this guy. And everybody's been raving about him. It's like, it's just because he's mad. Look, like I said, he's a grumpy old man. He doesn't want anybody to get that NIL money, and that's okay. Look, there's full of folks that are mad about that. They don't want the NIL money out there, or they want it to only go to college players that have already achieved. That's not the way the world works. I can understand folks not liking it, but to go out there and make a cheap shot on somebody, I just don't get that. But, look, you can see his opinion of the Vols. All right, folks, just wanted to cover that little whisper campaign, which I think is ridiculous. And Mr. Dennis Dodd, hey, that's how he makes his Benjamins, I guess. And if you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Lets me know to continue to cover the Vols, the SEC, national media, all that good stuff. And if you've not subscribed, it's right here on the left. Costs you nothing. Helps me out. I would appreciate it. A lot of y'all watch my videos and you don't hit that little button. Just boop. That's all you got to do. And right over here is my most recent video. Be sure to check that out. And we'll see you next time on Sports Talk J.